Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Felix here from HeyDon'tShoot.com and FelixGPhoto.com, and I'm here at the Sony Media Day in Seoul, South Korea. The Sony Media Day is to introduce their new products. Mostly today was focused on live video production and remote video production, which I'm not too interested in because that's like live TV, live sports broadcasts, that sort of thing. But they did talk a bit about their cinema line of cameras, which I'm really interested in, especially the Sony FX3, which is like, their entry level, I guess you would say, of their professional line of cinema cameras. But they also had on display here the FX6 and the FX9, which I don't know too much about. But fortunately for me, being mostly a photographer, I was happy to see they had the Sony a7S III and the Sony a7 IV, plus the full line of Sony G Master lenses. So it was cool to find the invite and register and come to this event and take a look. So join me in taking a quick look around at some of the cameras and lenses, and I'll give you a quick rundown of some of the ins and outs of each one that they went over today. Hey, thanks for watching. Okay, hang on a second. Before we get into the video and showing you the products that I saw at the Sony Media Day, I have to give a critique. Now, if you watch this channel, you know that most of the stuff I shoot with is Sony. I do have my Leica and the Fuji and some other stuff, and I shoot, old film cameras, but mostly what I shoot every day is Sony. I love their products. However, I get home from this Media Day and come to find out that the Media Day was hosted on the same day that Sony announced the FX30, which I think is a pretty big deal. But they didn't have it at the Sony Media Day. Why would you have a Media Day on the day you announce a product as awesome as the FX30 and not bring it to the Media Day? They didn't even talk about it. It wasn't even in their slides. And so with that in mind, when I got home and I saw that release of the new product, I had to go back and take a look again at my overall thoughts of the Sony Media Day, and it's not going to be a good critique. So first, we're going to start with the presentation. So each of their product line managers, I assume in Korea, that's the head of their product lines, gave a presentation, a slideshow presentation. It was, from a presenter's point of view and an audience point of view, it was very dull and very boring. Only one of the slideshows showed any sort of video that was any video. One guy showed a video. Everybody else was just slides. And then, like, as far as I'm concerned, when it's a media day, right, you're inviting journalists, you're inviting the media, you want the media attention. I would dress, I don't know, I would dress in a suit and tie. One guy, you'll see, hopefully I have a video clip of it, he dressed in a plain shirt that was wrinkled, no tie, pants with no belt, and like Docksider shoes. And me, if I was a manager at Sony at that level, I wouldn't allow that. It's got to be suit and tie, right? The media is going to be there, suit and tie. The second thing is they had all their products set up, and some of the, like I mentioned a second ago in my intro video, I wasn't there to see their live video production products, but they had them set up like their broadcast cameras, and they had a model there. And not that there was much for her to do, I guess, but she just sat there on her cell phone. The whole time she just sat there looking bored and uninterested on her cell phone. Me, what I would have done differently is set up like a mock studio and set up the equipment so that the media who wanted to come in and see the equipment and try the equipment, because there were a lot of professionals there too, they could do sort of a mock run-through of a live broadcast and have the model do, say, like a sports broadcast or anything really. But it was just not that impressive looking back. They had all their products, monitors, cameras, switchers, things of that nature, laid out. You can come by and see it, but there was not really an opportunity to really do a hands-on tryout. And when they were doing the presentation, one of the things they emphasized in the presentation was like their workflow of start to finish, of how you start, where you collect your content, you shoot with the cameras, and then their workflow for how to get that stuff to, your central network hub, and then broadcast it out on whatever medium you're broadcasting. And it would have been really cool, again, if I was in charge of the situation, would have been really cool to do a walkthrough and show hands-on how that's done in sort of a mock broadcast environment. But that's just my 2 cents. The main thing I want to say, though, was that this media day in Seoul, South Korea was held on the day that Sony announced the FX30. They didn't have one there. Would have been awesome to see. They didn't even mention it. So I got to give a thumbs down to that. Let's get back to the good stuff here. The rest of this video you see is just a walkthrough and show you all the good stuff that they did have there, which was the A7S III, the A7 IV, the G Master lenses. They did have the FX3, the FX6, the FX9. They had the Venice 2 and some other really cool, their cinema line of cameras was really cool. But man, I would have liked to seen the FX3 on Media Day, on the day it was announced.
The Sony Media Day was held at the upscale International Finance Center building in Yeouido, Seoul, South Korea. As I previously mentioned, the Media Day started off with a series of presentations highlighting Sony's line of studio, live production products, as well as their cinema line of cameras. My personal highlight was getting a first-hand look at the new FR7, which is a remotely operated E-mount cinema camera that is mounted on a pan and tilt assembly and is controlled by a control panel and joystick. The relatively small size, versatility, and remote control offers videographers and filmmakers endless creative options that would not otherwise be possible with larger camera setups. Unfortunately, and what I think is another failure of this event, was that the FR7 wasn't set up in such a way that anyone could really get a decent idea of its full capabilities. It was just kind of stuck in a corner, which meant the only thing you could shoot was a close-up of people's belt line in the crowd. Another failure was the absence of batteries in some of the camera bodies. The A7S III and the A7 IV on display didn't have a battery in them, so no one could even try them out. Bad, bad, bad. But at least I was able to try out the Sony G Master 50mm f1.2 lens. I put it on my A6500, and needless to say, it's an impressive piece of glass. Here's a good look at the FX3, and while it's out of my price range, the FX30 is not. Gee, it's too bad they didn't have one there. I like the form factor of the FX3, and I can definitely see that steady shots are possible using just the carry handle. It was comfortable and fairly lightweight. Here you can see it mounted with the G Master 24-70 version 2. As far as the other cameras in their cinema line, like the FX6 and FX9, I can see how they would be an excellent choice for independent and documentary filmmakers. The form factor on these is also quite nice. The hand grip is nice and comfortable and allows for handheld shooting even with a fair amount of weight on the camera. Key buttons and controls are within thumb's reach on the hand grip. Then you have something like the Sony Venice 2, which is a legitimate high-end cinema camera. It's been used on films such as Top Gun Part 2. It's modular, so you can actually set up just the lens mount portion separately from the body. They even had a Sony FS5 version 2 with the trusty 18-105mm lens. It was sitting in the back of the room, but I don't think it was part of their display. Even with all my gripes, at least I could look forward to some free swag that they were sure to give out, as they always do at events like this. Ugh. Think again. As a parting gift for the media in attendance, they gave us each a cheap umbrella. Not even a Sony branded one, just a cheap umbrella.
Hey, that's it. This is Felix once again coming to you from downtown Seoul, South Korea at the Sony Media Day. Hope you enjoyed checking out all the gear, especially the Cine line of cameras, the FX9, the FX6, the FX3, which is really for people like me, and that's a rhyme. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.